This time I'm going to try to do a quick overview of the lesson 4 for the Arduino, where they take and go through the RGB LED, fading in between colors, red, green, and blue. And they have some code already written, which is nice. And when you load that, this is what you get. I put this little piece of paper over there because my camera kind of can't handle how bright that is, even though I went with a 10K resistor instead of the 220 ohm that they suggest in the tutorial. But over here for lesson 4, I'll just kind of scroll through it quick, where they give a description, they go through the components needed, they talk about the RGB LED and how it works, and they explain, the RGB pixel and why the colors blend, and the theory behind PWM control of LEDs to control the brightness, the apparent brightness of them. And they go through the connection to the actual Arduino chip. And then they give you a wiring diagram so you know how to hook it all up. And like I said, the only difference was they used 220 ohm resistors. The LEDs are really bright when you do that. So I put in 10K resistors, hoping it would make it a little easier for my camera to handle, and it still was a little too bright. But I think you can see them kind of dimmed through just a simple piece of white paper. And then they talk about how to load the code, and they go through an explanation of the code, and then they give an actual photograph of the setup, and then they move on to lesson 5. So, the code is, I'm going to make it real clear. I'm not a software expert. If I had to write this from scratch, I'd probably be hard pressed to do it and make it work. But this is nice to give you some code that actually runs. And they define the pins, the different pin modes for the setup. They define the variables, and then they go into this loop. This comment, I haven't bothered to figure this out. It's unnecessary. I don't know. Not sure I understand that comment. I haven't really spent time on it. But then they go through where they cycle through red-green values, then they go through the green-blue values, and then they go the other way through the green-blue values, which would then go back to red, to green. And that's what it's doing right now. So it's pretty straightforward, and it just worked. It's pretty cool. I do have a couple things that I did just to help me understand what did I really do here. And let's see, this. So I took a lot of stuff out, and I'm just like, what if I just wrote, a value for the red, green, and blue. And if I load that, this is going to be red is off, green is off, and blue is full brightness. And I run that, and I don't know, I think it shows up. It's blue. And if I change this to red being on and blue being off. See, do I have to save that? I think I can just upload it. Let's see what happens. And yes, red. So that's just kind of very simple. And then I went and wanted to know a little bit more about, what if I wanted to what if it didn't work and I wanted to kind of debug it a little bit? And so this thing, I added printing to the, what do they call it? Do they call it a console? They call it a serial monitor. So you open your serial monitor, and you, somewhere in here, oh, it's up there. So my serial monitor, 9600, has to be 9600 baud. And then looks like that is all I needed to define how it talks to the serial monitor. Of course, it has to be on COM4 because I don't know if you can, I don't know if you can read it, but we're on COM4. And so that has to be the same. And if I run this, there's two different ways. So there's this sprintf, where you can actually put on a line the different values. So RGB step it'll actually write these, and then the percent %i integer, I think. You can look these up. It's really easy. Oh, here's a YouTube where I think they explained all of that. And then red, green, and blue, and then my 4 variables: I, red value, green value, blue value. And then a brute force way of doing it is down here, where it came out more like a table, where I had a table heading, and then I printed each variable one at a time. And then if you don't put the ln, it puts them all on the same line, and then serial print ln starts a new line. And so this is the two ways where you can get it to print some stuff to a console, where you might, if you need to debug things, you might be able to see what's going on a little bit. And if I upload that, and there, and now there it goes. If I stop it, stop it, you can see this version. And if I keep it going a little bit, we'll get to the table version, where it spits out the table head, the column heading, and the value. And you could do it where there was one where it spits out the column heading one time and then just does all the values, but I did it this way just because it was a little easier. So that is essentially lesson 4. And this is so far so good. Everything they've done seems to be working and really well explained. So far, this is pretty awesome. I don't know if anyone else is that interested in it, but I'm liking it, so I'm going to do it.